So welcome everybody to our seventh meeting. This week, what we're going to be doing is holding a bit of a project workshop, kind of provide everybody with three different prompts for different projects that all of you are welcome to try and submit. And we're going to have a little bit of a showcase for that. So today is just kind of giving you the details for the workshop and what are your options for what you can do. So, we're going to go ahead and start by having a couple of icebreakers. Looking at the amount of people we have, Omar, do you want to do breakout rooms or should we just keep it in here?
I think we can just have people go.
Okay. So, we're just going to have these four questions and just go around and answer them. Omar, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So my semester's been all right. It's been a lot of work, but I'm just waiting for decisions. Basically, I'm just surviving until then. The class I'm enjoying the most is probably linear algebra, even though it's really hard. I think it's pretty interesting, and it's a lot of like really abstract math, I guess, from the rest of the math courses we have. So I like it a lot. The class I dislike the most is physics, because I hate physics in general. I'm taking physics 4C, and even though it's better than 4B, I just don't like physics, period. So yeah, it's tough, but I'll get through it. And anything interesting or fun that I did recently? Not really. I've just been doing school and other stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys' lives have been more cool and interesting.
All right, thanks, Omar. I'll go next. Likewise, I think this semester's been kind of having its ups and downs a lot up to this point. However, it is my last semester, so it's a lot more relaxed in the sense of worrying whether or not what grades I get on my classes. All I care really is being able to pass. Speaking of which, the class that I currently enjoy the most is surprisingly my anthropology class that I took it as thinking that I needed it for my associates. Turns out I don't, but the reason I like it is because of the people who are in the class, which I found out most of them are legitimate witches. They believe in pagan gods and that kind of stuff, and just seeing them just talk about their lives on the Discord server for the class has just made the class worth it. The class I hate or dislike the most is linear, mostly just because of the professor I have it with, which is Fam, which nice guy, but would not, recommend learning from the class just because, like I said, he's really nice, but I just have a hard time being able to focus during his lectures. Anything interesting or fun? I think it's really hard to do that during this time. I think the most interesting thing you can do during this time is probably just, binge watch something or play video games, but that's not anything out of the ordinary. So, yeah. Anybody else wants to go next? Imran and
Yes.
Lauren. Oh, Imran. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So my semester's been pretty good so far. Last semester like Omar and Christian, so it's basically just waiting on decisions and just trying to keep like 3.0. What class am I enjoying the most? This super fun interactive class. It's a CS6B with Hotchwald. Doing a lot of work in that class. No, I'm joking. You don't do anything there. What class do I dislike the most? Linear algebra. Why? Because it's hard and I suck at math. And anything interesting or fun? Yeah, Chatri, it's so fun, isn't it? Anything interesting or fun? I went golfing the other day. That was pretty fun. Like to a driving range, not actual golfing. But yeah, it's a great stress reliever. You guys should try it. That's about it. Let's go next.
Okay, I'll go. My semester's been nice. It's also my last semester, like everyone else, basically. And the class I'm enjoying the most right now is probably Math 30 with Hochwald, because it's online and I don't do anything for it until like right before the test. And then the class I dislike the most is probably CS3B. I'm taking it at Saddleback. It's like this assembly language class and it's horrible. And anything interesting, okay, I went, like, it wasn't recent, or it was kind of recent, but I went to these sand dunes and it was pretty cool.
Where were the sand dunes?
It was in like near the Mojave Desert.
Okay.
It's called the Kelso Sand Dunes, if you want to check it out. Yeah, it's pretty cool, Mimi. What did you do there? I tried sand sledding, but it didn't really work.
Oh yeah, I tried that too. Those are cool.
And it was like a really long hike. Like, it was so unassuming because like from where you park, you don't think you have to walk that far to get to the top of it, but it's like a long walk.
Yeah,
and hiking up sand is horrible.
But it was worth it though when you get to the top and you could slide down.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else wants to go?
Sure, I'll go. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm on mobile, so it's a bit hard, but my semester's been pretty good. Classes are kind of a lot. I've been like super busy, nonstop, working on stuff. So that's kind of terrible. But upside is I got a mentor recently, and he's pretty cool. His name's Eddie. He's helping me, Eduardo, and he's helping me figure out things I should be doing. He's providing me like internship resources and helping me fix up my like LinkedIn and resume. So it was really nice to find him. The class I'm enjoying the most is actually not computer science related. It's Asian American Studies, and my other classes right now for computer science are just not very enjoyable. That's why it's not the things I'd like to be doing. It's like databases and things like that. So I really like the Asian American Studies class because just allows for like discussion on topics that, you know, somebody like me isn't totally familiar with. So I think it's pretty cool just to have that discussion with people. My least favorite class is a class called Operating Systems and File Structures. It's actually through Fullerton. It's because of the professor. She has a very, very thick accent, and I have no idea what's going on half of it. So it's kind of terrible. And anything fun I did recently? I'm gonna be honest, no, because I've been so busy. So I've just kind of been doing schoolwork, and that's pretty much it. But I got an interview recently for a potential internship for Dream for Schools as a teacher for young kids that are wanting to get into STEM and computer science. So I'm hoping that I get the job for that and can teach kids CS and web development. And that's pretty much it.
Nice. Okay. So if anyone else wants to go ahead and answer, feel free. If not, we can move on. Okay. All right. We're just going to go ahead and go to the next slide here. So we're going to have 3 kind of topics for these projects, which you can go ahead and pick out of these. We have the first one, which is game development. You can go ahead and create a small, very basic kind of text-based game using, either a game engine that we'll get to the next slide, or using something like Visual Studio just to use the console to create a text-based game, or something a little bit more controllable with graphics and that kind of stuff. Create a web application to showcase your hobby you may have, or information about yourself, and if not, some information on useful things, any of that kind of stuff. Last but not least, you can create a bot that will use a platform like Twitter, Reddit, or Discord that performs a task using their API or whatnot with that. These are just ideas, but feel free to kind of do your own thing with these three kind of topics that we have presented. So, Omar, if you want to go ahead.
I thought you were covering this one.
Oh, you want me to cover that one? Okay.
Yeah,
so the first one, yeah, that's okay. So the first one is going to be game development, and here's some platforms and resources that you can go ahead to get started. All these slides will be available to everyone after the meeting. They will be in the recap email we'll send out, as well as the meeting summary on the Discord server. And so the two kind of platforms that are posted on here are Unity and RenPy. Unity is a much more general platform that allow you to do a wide variety of kind of games that do vary from 2D platformers to some basic 3D games, depending on your skill level. And the link to download and get started is right there, as well as RenPy. RenPy is a Python-based kind of game engine, which is created for text-based games such as visual novels. And that is also on the link presented on screen. And there are two kind of starter tutorials. These tutorials teach you how to navigate the actual platform. The Unity one actually shows you how to create a 2D platformer, and in the process, it shows you how to get accustomed to Unity as a whole, where certain aspects of the program are, how to navigate and that kind of stuff. Same likewise with RenPy. And yeah, this is your first option, which is game development. Next up, I believe it's web applications. So go ahead, Omar.
Okay, so we have a couple of resources for you guys to get started on just general web dev. If you guys are just straight up beginners, you guys have never worked with this before, there's a great tutorial by W3 Schools, and it's basically how to get on creating web pages with HTML and CSS. So you're gonna learn how to basically just work with markup language, how to just create text on a certain page, how to design it, and how to add anything you would want to add to it generally. For Python users, if you guys use Python a lot and you guys are a little bit experienced with HTML and CSS, you guys can use Flask. It's a great backend framework, and basically it just has this thing called Jinja templates, and basically you can write Python code within your HTML files, and you can use that to do some cool stuff. And always the links are right there, and they come with all the documentation, everything like that. And if you guys want, we can show like some examples afterwards when we get to the working session. If you guys are already proficient with CSS and JavaScript, there's a website that I use a lot when I do web dev, and it's called webdesigninspiration.com. And basically it has just a bunch of different websites where you can just look at and see like, oh, how did this person, design theirs, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just a really good place to get inspiration and get some ideas running. And if you guys do use VS Code, one of the best extensions that I use a lot for web dev is Live Server. And basically, essentially what it does is that typically if you're just writing your HTML on some text editor or something like that, and you want to see that page in the browser, you'd have to continuously exit that, close out of that browser and keep opening the web page up and up and over again. But if you have Live Server on, it'll automatically reflect the changes, and it'll show them live as you make changes onto your file. So it's a really helpful extension. So for bots as well, we have this is obviously there's a way more platforms than what we have listed here for bots, as you can see at the bottom. You guys can do bots for any other platforms you would like to, or you can integrate multiple platforms into one bot. This is just some examples for you guys to get started on if you guys have never done this before. So for Twitter, there's developer portal and documentation. Do note for Twitter though, you have to apply for developer access. So if you guys need help on getting the application done through there, you can ask one of the board or either me or anyone else, and we can help you go through that. because sometimes you might get denied based on what you say in the application. If you guys, so I'm a huge Python fan. So when I do my bots, I usually do them in Python. So I included wrappers for all of these platforms. So there's a Python wrapper for Twitter as well called Tweepy or Tweepy, however you want to say it. There's also Reddit. You guys can create bots for Reddit. There's developer portal documentation, also another Python wrapper. And there's Discord as well, which is very popular. And you guys can go through that. There's also another Python wrapper for that. So in general, you guys can just create a bot for any of these platforms or multiple platforms and just think of any functions that you might think would be funny or helpful for that certain platform in a sense. Yeah, so regarding project submissions, everyone's welcome to participate. So you guys don't have to be at a certain skill level or something to, do it. We're gonna have 2 weeks to complete and submit the project. So before the start of the next meeting, which is in 2 weeks from today, you guys will be able to, we'll have a link, which is right there. And this is just a form that you guys will fill out with your name. If you guys if you guys did your project in a group, and a couple like screenshots or a video link or a GIF of your project and how it's working. And everyone who participates will receive an incentive for doing so. We haven't decided completely on what we want to give you guys, but just do know that if you guys do participate and submit a project, you guys will get something for doing that. And after the deadline, we'll have a showcase that will show off everyone's projects for those that turned it in. So you guys will also have that as well. Yeah, so after we finish the rest of the slides, this meeting's gonna be open. So it's gonna be like a workshop session. The board's just gonna be here and basically to assist you guys if you need help getting set up or choosing a project idea, or if you're just gonna run something through them, they can give you feedback on that. The links for the slides, so you guys can access all of the links that we had in the project topics. It's going to be posted in the Zoom chat right after we're done. So you guys can access the links and feel free to talk amongst each other or get into breakout rooms to discuss ideas. If you guys want to work in groups, that's perfectly fine too. We can put you guys in breakout rooms. So yeah.
All right. Our next meeting on March 12th is going to have a USC speaker. Basically what this is it's for the computer science internship workshop, but the main purpose of it is basically just going to help you guys basically learn where you stand out as transfer applicants, how to apply for internships, and basically how to get started on that whole process. Because I know it's like super, I don't want to say tedious exactly, given like the whole Corona situation. Like it's better to start earlier when you know how to do it, because a lot of places are starting to open up, and you're basically just going to hear other stories about how students, much like ourselves, have made it from here to other places, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, so the speaker will also be there to answer any questions you may have about the application process as a transfer student who is a CS major interested at USC. Things like requirements or what will help you stand out. And that'll be the first part of the meeting. The second half will be a much more in-depth internship workshop, which will have some board members talk about what steps they took to get internships that may have gone at different places, what steps you can take to find internships, and how to go about that process, because it can be very confusing for people who are completely new to that. So that will be on March 12th, which is 2 weeks from now. And last but not least, if anybody has any questions, if not, we're going to go ahead and move on to that little working period that Omar did mention. And for those of you who want to go ahead and work on it on your own and not stick around to the meeting, you also feel free to do so. If that's the case, we'll see you March 12th. But if not, everyone, thank you so much for attending.
Quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
When are these projects due? Like a specific due date?
Yeah, so it is 2 weeks from now, which is March 12th. That is the actual date, which is also the date of our next meeting.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so Chris, you want to tab back to the working session slide? Also,
Which one?
I'm gonna link the slides in the chat so people can get the.
Let me go ahead and stop the recording as well.